China's approach to the franchise and suffrage in Hong Kong has been consistent with its writings on legal warfare, which focus on the use of the law as an instrument for justifying or furthering national aims. This is a much more offensive approach, employing the law to achieve previously established ends rather than defensively limiting or otherwise constraining one's own activities. This lawfare approach also complements Chinese public opinion warfare methods. Social and news media in China are tightly controlled by the government, and once the protests began, Chinese Weibo messages, the local equivalent of Twitter, were immediately censored. Meanwhile, the harassment of Hong Kong activists is integral to Chinese psychological warfare methods. The fact that even the average protester has been detained or had their travels limited serves notice that anyone who protests has likely been recorded and will suffer consequences. Third, this approach to Hong Kong.
She's appeared as an expert commentator on CNN and BBC, and has written on Asia policy issues for national and international publications.
The footage of their detention was indeed alarming. There appears to have been no provocation. They did not seem to be presenting any sort of imminent threat to the police. They're also hardly, if they were standing right here, I think we could see that they're not especially physically threatening people. Mm-hmm. And so the way in which they were arrested that day is particularly alarming. They were tackled to the ground, they were cuffed, no warning was given, no request seems to have been issued that they effectively surrender themselves. They have both been released. It's not clear whether charges are going to be pursued. It's worth noting that Mr. Wong was actually previously detained for about 48 hours until a judge, in really the finest we expect of Hong Kong's judges, essentially said the police have absolutely no basis to have detained him and let him go. But that was not until after he had been detained and his computer had been seized and searched. And it's hard not to see tactics like this as both evidence of a lack of discipline in some circumstances on the part of the police, but also a way of telegraphing to other student leaders that this is what might be in store for them as well.
Thank you. Let me squeeze one last question.
I asked one question, and my colleague